Let me start off by something that genuinely made my blood boil. Last month, my energy bill arrived here in Devon, a two-bed bungalow, fairly new, energy efficient, total £220. A few days later, a friend of mine in BGC, Manila, sends me a roundup of his bill. Electricity, water, fibre, internet, mobile phone, all bundled together, around £150. I just stared at it. I always knew the UK was expensive, but I didn't realise we drifted this far into madness. That was the moment it really clicked. Britain just isn't a bit pricey, it's systematically ripping people off. London, up to four times more expensive than Manila. Brighton, nearly four times more than Davao. Belgravia, £3,000 a month for a one bed flat. BGC in Manila, 600 for a modern condo with pool, security. Same kind of lifestyle, wildly different price tags. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why I handed in my notice and decided to tap out of Rip Off Britain once and for all. Let's start with the big one, London versus Manila. When I lived in London, I was paying around 1,800 a month for a one bed flat in Zone 2. Not even central. You're crammed into a small flat. No pool, no gym, no security, and that's considered quite normal. Now, look at Manila. In BGC, a very nice area, a modern, fully furnished one bed is about £600 a month, with a pool, with a gym, with 24/7 security. In London, that same setup would be marketed as luxury living. And if you push it to the so called best areas, the gap gets even more ridiculous. Belgravia, one of London's best areas, a one bed is around £3,000 a month. If you want a bigger home, you're looking at £10,000 to £12,000 a month. Add utilities, council tax, internet, and you're easily adding another 500 a month. Belgravia charges you for merely existing. BGC gives you high rise living, amenities, walkability, and community at a fraction of the cost. So maybe you're saying, okay, Spence, but London's always been mental, especially Belgravia. What about cheaper UK cities? And okay, I agree, Belgravia is completely crazy, as BGC would be in Manila. But let's look at Brighton versus Davao. Brighton is often labelled more affordable. A one bed in Brighton will still cost you around 1,350 a month, and for that you'll get a very small flat, a bit of mould, and a landlord who'll treat maintenance like a rare hobby. In Davao, a modern one bed condo is around 380 a month, with space, modern building, often a pool and gym, and 24/7 security. Utilities? Brighton around 170 a month for the basics. Electric, water, gas. Davao, 100 to £160 for electricity to water, fibre, internet, mobile phone. People call Brighton affordable, but stack it against Davao, and it's still four times the price for maybe a quarter of the lifestyle. Why are we accepting this here in the UK? Here's the thing, this isn't about a couple of pricey flats or the odd expensive meal. Rip Off Britain is systematically expensive. Restaurants and entertainment, we pay several times more than places like the Philippines for the same meal, same portion, same pint. Is the beer four times colder? No. Is the service four times better? Nope. They charge it because, well, they can. Transport costs 6 to 7 times more than the Philippines for delayed trains, overcrowded carriages, and strike schedules that are becoming regular programming. Housing rents are 4 times higher than Manila or Davao. That's before council tax. Uh, Even if you own your own home, you're still paying hundreds of a month to the council for services that always seem stretched and reduced. In the Philippines, there's no council tax, no TV license, fewer random charges popping out of nowhere. Average energy bills in the UK, they're pushing around £1,750 a year, with some of the highest kilowatt prices in Europe. Plus, of course, the daily standing charge. Broadband, here in the UK, we pay some of the highest rates in Europe for speeds that freeze mid sentence. Groceries cost a lot more than many European countries. All the while, wages stagnate and services crumble around us. So, we're paying premium prices for what exactly? A healthcare system that's on its knees, an infrastructure that's being held together by duct tape, and a political class that insists us that we're prosperous and really lucky to be alive. And then, right on cue, the taxman arrives. This isn't just some income tax. We expect that. I'm talking about the hidden, layered taxes that squeeze your wallet repeatedly. Fuel duty, over 50 pence per litre on duty alone. Then they slap VAT on top of that. You're paying through the nose just to drive to the job that barely covers your bills. Beer duty. Yes, honestly, they literally tax the alcohol content. So a big chunk of your pint goes straight to HMRC. Sugar tax. Fancy a Coke or an ice cream? Another levy. Fancy a Coke float? Well, that'll be two levies. And then VAT, 20% on top of almost everything, again and again and again. Add it all up, income tax, national insurance, VAT, duties, council tax, fees, hidden taxes, a huge part of every pound you earn, spend, or save disappears into the tax system. And what do we see back? Well, unless you're part of their small selective special club, the answer feels like, well, not much. This is what I mean by bankruptcy by a million cuts. The same pound gets taxed continually, and your bank balance is left on a permanent diet. In the past, there have been times where I've had less than zero in my account. I couldn't even afford things that cost nothing. So here's the honest question. What are you actually getting in Britain for these prices? In London, that £1,800 a month bought me a small flat, a long commute, and a constant sense of running just to stay afloat. In Manila, for £650, I can have a spacious condo, a pool, a gym, 24/7 security, and everything I need a short walk away. And more importantly, it changes how you live. In the UK, in the past, I've worked 50 to 60 hours a week just to survive. In the Philippines, I can work less, live decently, and actually experience life, not just recover from it. Are there downsides to living abroad? Of course, there are. Bureaucracy, traffic, cultural adjustments. But if the trade off is deal with some admin instead of hand half your income to landlords and the other half to utility companies and the tax man, it's becoming a rather easy choice. When you're over 50, like me, your priorities shift. I don't want my later years spent stressing over bills. I want to work because I want to, not because I'm terrified of what happens if I don't. So, should everyone move to the Philippines? No, absolutely not. If you love your job, your community, if you have one, the British lifestyle, keep it, stay. That might be the right choice for you. But if you're watching this because the cost of living is crushing you, because you feel stuck on a hamster wheel, because you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s thinking, there has to be more to life than this, then I'd say you owe it to yourself to take a look around. Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Spain, Portugal, Paraguay, the Philippines. There's plenty of places where the maths and the lifestyle make far more sense than this. The UK isn't getting cheaper, and I don't think it ever will. Energy bills aren't magically dropping, rents aren't suddenly falling, and you're getting older. As you get older, you get less energy, less patience, far less tolerance for this nonsense. Why spend your later years stressed about your bills when you could be stressed about which restaurant to try next? There's a scene in an old film called My Dinner with Andre which struck with me for years. One of the characters, Andre, talks about people in New York are always saying, I really want to leave. I can't stand this place. I'm definitely going to get out one day. And they never do. His theory is brutal. He says the city has become a kind of open air concentration camp that people have built themselves. The inmates are also the guards. They're proud of the very thing that's trapping them. They decorate the walls. They call it vibrant and exciting. And they lose the ability to even see it as a prison, let alone walk out from it. And every time I hear someone in London say, I hate it here, the prices are insane, I really want to leave, and then they just carry on for another 5 years, I think of that scene. We've built this incredibly expensive life. We've bought into this story that the only proper way to live, and now we're both prisoners and the guards. We defend the thing that's draining us because admitting that it's a prison would actually mean that we actually have to leave. When cities like London and Brighton cost 4 to 5 times more than Manila or Davao for the same or better lifestyle, something is fundamentally broken. Nowhere is perfect, not even the Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, or any of those other places are. But if you can live comfortably on what Britain charges for a cramped studio, eat out for what London charges for a takeaway, and save instead of surviving, you have to start questioning everything you were told about home. If you're over 50 and you're still on the fence, remember the older you get, the less time you're going to have to tolerate a system bleeding you dry. The real question isn't, can I afford to move abroad? It's, how long can I afford to stay in this system that feels more like a prison than a life? If this resonated, please hit subscribe. I'm documenting my entire journey from Britain to the Philippines, the good, the bad, and the what the hell have I done? Please drop your thoughts in the comments. Thinking of moving? Already made the leap? I read them and I reply to all of them. I genuinely want to hear your story. And if you want to see my first week in Manila, that's hopefully coming soon. Cheers, and remember, you've always got options. Don't forget, you've always got options. This is Spence Unpacked, and I'll see you on the next one.